Good evening. This is James Exum coming to you from my studio in South Austin, Texas. It's Tuesday, the 21st of July, and this evening I'll be recording a video for you on YouTube entitled Human Willpower. I think it's a very important subject, and I think it's something everyone should develop. First, I'll give you what I've written as the definition of willpower. Human willpower is the faculty by which a person directs thought, desire, and actions towards a chosen purpose. It is not merely stubbornness or force of personality, it is the disciplined capacity to remain steady when distractions, impulses, fears, or fatigue attempt to pull the mind away from its higher aim. In this sense, willpower is both psychological strength and moral intelligence. It helps human beings choose what is meaningful over what is merely immediate. Being an old yogi, and my discourse is being led by the subject of yoga philosophy. I'll give you the yogic definition. Yoga philosophy teaches that the mind can be trained through patience, discipline, and inner observation. So practice is the key word, or the first word in that definition. You practice sports, you practice running, you practice your speeches, you practice being polite in public and in private, hopefully in private too. You practice soccer, you practice whatever your hobbies are. I practice painting. You can see behind me some of my paintings. The one on the easel, let me move my head out of the way, there you go. The personage there in red is my latest ongoing painting. Anything that gives you pleasure, you tend to practice to improve upon that hobby or that subject. So willpower is the ability to guide thought, desire, and action toward a chosen purpose, as I stated at the beginning. Well, first you have to have a purpose to develop willpower. You have to have a personal need. You have to have a chosen desire. And you have to be able to guide your thoughts towards that goal. People that lack willpower sometimes lack other areas of their personality also, of their human abilities. And willpower is not something taught to you in school, in the elementary, the high school, or even college or post-grad. It's just something you have to learn to yourself. I've learned willpower through the years, and I taught myself willpower. I don't go to bed without washing up my evening meal dishes. I don't get up and start going out in public without taking my morning bath, shower. I don't ignore my upcoming bills at the beginning of the month or at various dates that the payments have been assigned to me during the month. I don't ignore the fact that I pay myself first once my income arrives on the first of the month. I pay myself by putting a certain fraction of that total amount into a savings account. That doesn't sound very hard, does it? It's just something, a habit you get into. So willpower, in a way, and habits, as I said, sort of walk down the road hand in hand. If you have good willpower, you probably have a good savings account. If you have good willpower, you probably have a good credit rating. If you have good willpower, or strong willpower, You're probably able to keep your home clean and neat and tidy and make your bed in the morning and daily cleansing of your body, wearing clothes that properly fit and are clean and neat. They don't have to be ironed, clean and neat, and so forth. So that's falls under the ability to guide thought, desire, and action towards your chosen purpose. The second part of this, the yoga philosophy about willpower, is the ancient yogis emphasize steady practice as a foundation for strengthening the will. If you have a coach that's teaching you tennis, then the coach should say you need to practice. In high school, our coach told us you need to practice whatever you've chosen as your athletic ability in my class. I liked running, still do, and tried out for a little gymnastics. Wasn't very good at the gymnastics, but I was decent at the running. Long distance running is the one I chose. So you also, when you're learning to have personal willpower, you also have to give up something. You have to become non-attached. You have to become non-attached to actions that are not ruled as so that your actions are not ruled by cravings or praise, failure, or reward. Well, that's a very broad statement, and it's used throughout the philosophy of yoga from the earliest days up to now. And when I'm talking about yoga, I'm talking about yoga philosophy. I'm not talking about the physical yoga, which I practiced and taught in my early days. So self-knowledge helps willpower become patient, courageous, and balanced rather than rigid or forceful. Your willpower shouldn't be rigid, and you shouldn't have to force it to refine itself. The things I've mentioned so far are the right path, and you should study those, and if you need to rewind and see what I've spoken of, that's fine. In fact, I encourage it. But you don't want to be rigid, and you don't want to have an association with willpower that makes you feel like it's riding your back. It's a hobby. It's a habit that becomes a hobby. You can have anything as a hobby. So once you light this inner fire of discipline, it's a wonderful thing, because it transforms the discomfort that you have sometimes in not having willpower, the disappointment that comes from not having willpower. It transforms that into growth, and it combines and leads towards the accomplishment of your higher purpose in life. So your yoga path views true strength as self-mastery rather than control over others. If you cannot master yourself, then you cannot master willpower. And I think so far I've touched a lot of points here, and I'm happy with them. This is one of my very first, I'm laying my notes aside, this is one of my very first videos since I quit recording back in January. And the reason being, in January my iPhone, even though I was still paying on it, went out. I got locked out of it, and I tried everything in the world, including visiting the store in South Austin to have them get me back online, but nothing worked. So I got around to buying this little webcam, and I'm experimenting with it, and hopefully the little videos I make come out clear and somewhat concise. I'm going to try to keep these new videos under 20 minutes. In fact, this one's going to be 10 minutes, or a little bit less. So I've got about 45 seconds to close out here, and that's what I'm going to do. In my old videos, I always said, be good to yourself, be good to others, be good to strangers. And who knows, someday when all this chaotic activity we exist in nowadays goes back to normalcy, we'll all be friendlier toward each other, smile more, and have a more positive attitude about the world and its future. So on that note, I'm going to close, and I'm going to say to you, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you got something out of this little video about self-discipline. It's very important. Dealing with uncomfortable circumstances requires self-discipline. So perhaps anything I've said in this video that helps you, then I've accomplished my goal. And thank you so much for visiting with me. And I'll see you in the next one, and good night to you.